My precious soul, pause for a moment, because what you are about to hear was not random, and it was not delayed. Today, on March 11th, something you've been sensing is about to make sense. Archangel Michael brings insight meant specifically for this hour in your life. Take a breath, then open this message immediately. This is not coincidence. This is confirmation. You have been feeling it for days, maybe even weeks. A shift in the air. A strange stillness before something changes. Small signs. Repeated numbers. Unexpected emotions rising without warning. Conversations that felt deeper than usual. Dreams that carried symbols you could not fully understand. You tried to ignore it. You told yourself you were overthinking. But deep down, your spirit knew something was forming behind the scenes. And now, the veil is thinning. Archangel Michael stands in this hour with clarity in his hand like a sword of light. Unto how? La to frying. What to cut through confusion. What has been cloudy is about to become sharp. What felt tangled is about to be untied. What seemed delayed was actually being aligned. There is a reason this message is reaching you today and not yesterday. March 11th carries a spiritual frequency of alignment and awakening. Two ones standing beside each other, 11, symbolize spiritual gates. And this day is not ordinary for you. It is a checkpoint in your destiny. You have been asking silently, why do I feel like something is about to happen? Because something is. But listen carefully. This is not chaos approaching. This is clarity arriving. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that the unease you felt was not fear. It was preparation. Your spirit has been adjusting before your mind could catch up. A tension in your chest. That sudden urge to reorganize your space. That pull to distance yourself from certain conversations. Those were signals. He has been guarding you more intensely than you realize. There were words spoken about you that never reached your ears. There were plans forming around you that dissolved before they could touch your life. There were doors you thought were closing unfairly, but in truth, they were being sealed for your protection. And you sensed it. You felt something was happening behind the curtain. You were right. This message is the moment when sensing becomes knowing. Take a deep breath right now, because insight is about to replace confusion. Archangel Michael is revealing that what you have been worried about is not as powerful as you imagined. The situation that kept replaying in your mind, it has already shifted. The person whose energy felt different, their mask is thinning. The opportunity you thought you lost is transforming into something stronger. You were not paranoid. You were perceptive. And here is the deeper truth. Your discernment is increasing. You are entering a season where you will not need proof to trust your instincts. You will not need validation to recognize truth. You will not need approval to walk away from what feels wrong. This is spiritual maturity rising within you. March 11th is marking a turning point in your awareness. Something you couldn't quite explain is about to click into place. It may come through a conversation later today. It may come through a sudden realization while you are alone. It may come through a message, a sign, or even silence that suddenly feels loud with understanding. But when it happens, you will say, so that's what it was. Archangel Michael is emphasizing this. Do not react too quickly when the clarity arrives. Observation first. Action second. Let the truth settle before you speak. Let the insight anchor before you move. This is strategic wisdom, not emotional impulse. You have been tested in subtle ways recently. Small irritations, minor misunderstandings, delays that felt unnecessary. They were measuring your growth, and you passed more than you realize. Now heaven responds. This is the hour where hidden motives begin to surface, not dramatically, but unmistakably. You will see patterns you missed before. You will connect dots that once felt scattered, and instead of anger, you will feel calm. That calm is power, because when truth arrives and you do not panic, it means you have evolved. Archangel Michael stands beside you not as a distant symbol, but as an active guardian in this exact moment. His presence is not loud thunder. It is steady strength. It is courage flowing into your spine. It is confidence rising in your decisions. The insight coming to you today is specific. It is tailored. It is personal. It may concern your home, your relationships, your finances, your calling, or even your own identity. But whatever it touches, it will simplify what felt complicated. And here is something you must hear clearly. You are not behind in life. The delay was divine timing. The confusion was protection. The silence was strategy. Archangel Michael has been clearing interference around you quietly. That heaviness that suddenly lifted recently, that was not your imagination. That was spiritual resistance breaking. Today, you step into understanding. But there is one more layer. This clarity is not only about external situations. It is about you realizing your own authority. You have underestimated your influence. You have doubted your spiritual sensitivity. You have questioned whether you were imagining things. You were not imagining anything. You were discerning. And now discernment becomes direction. Something you've been sensing is about to make sense. Not tomorrow. Not next month. But beginning now. As you continue listening, the details will unfold even deeper. What Archangel Michael is revealing next may surprise you because it will expose not only what was hidden around you, but what has been rising within you. Take another breath. You are ready for this truth. Beloved warrior of light, what is unfolding now is not small. It is layered. It is precise. And it is deeply personal. The clarity approaching you is not random insight. It is revelation designed to reposition you. Today, on March 11th, something you've been sensing is about to make sense, and Archangel Michael is not whispering vaguely. He is directing you strategically. You have felt a shift in one specific area of your life more strongly than the others. For some of you, it is your home environment. The atmosphere has felt different, either heavier than usual or strangely quiet. For others, it is a relationship that has subtly changed your tone. Words sound the same, but energy feels different. And for a few of you, it is your own internal world, your desires, your goals, your tolerance level for what once felt acceptable. This is not instability. This is awakening. Archangel Michael is revealing that your spiritual senses have upgraded. You are no longer comfortable living on autopilot. You are noticing inconsistencies. You are catching small details you once ignored. You are questioning patterns you used to tolerate. And that inner questioning is not rebellion. It is alignment. Here is what is powerful about this hour. The truth will not explode into your life. It will settle into your awareness. You may suddenly understand why a certain door closed months ago. You may realize why someone's behavior never fully sat right with you. You may recognize that your exhaustion was not physical, it was emotional overextension. When the realization lands, do not second-guess it. Archangel Michael's presence in this message is to anchor your confidence. He carries the sword of discernment, and discernment cuts cleanly. It separates illusion from reality without drama. It reveals motives without noise. It exposes timing without chaos. There is something you have been trying to fix that was never yours to repair. That burden is about to lift. There is something you have been trying to prove that never required validation. That pressure is dissolving. And there is something you feared losing that was quietly being rearranged for your elevation. This is the hour where self-doubt begins to fade. You will notice that your reactions are calmer. Situations that once triggered you will feel distant. Words that once hurt deeply will feel less powerful. That is not emotional numbness. That is growth. March 11th marks a pivot in your spiritual posture. You are no longer bracing for impact. You are standing with awareness. And listen carefully. There is also protection attached to this insight. Not everyone around you understands the shift happening within you. Some may feel the change before you speak it. Some may sense that you are no longer easily influenced. And that is where Archangel Michael strengthens your boundaries. You do not need to announce your transformation. Let your energy speak. In the coming hours or days, a conversation may surface that confirms everything you've been sensing. Pay attention to tone more than words. Notice what is said and what is avoided. Observe without reacting. The clarity will be undeniable. And when it comes, do not rush to explain yourself. This message is also a reminder that you are not alone in this awakening. There is a reason you clicked on this today. There is a reason these words are resonating instead of sounding distant. If this is aligning with your spirit, I want you to engage with it. Like this message so it can reach someone else who has been sensing the same shift. Share it with someone who needs confirmation. Comment what you have been feeling lately, because your testimony strengthens others. And if you have not already, subscribe and become part of this growing circle of awareness. When you support this channel, you are amplifying messages that awaken souls. Now return your focus inward. Archangel Michael is not only revealing truth about others, he is restoring trust within you. For too long, you questioned your intuition because you did not have immediate proof. But spiritual maturity does not always come with visible evidence. It comes with inner certainty. You are entering a season where subtlety will guide you more than spectacle. Small signs will matter. Quiet nudges will be accurate. Sudden pauses will be protective. There is also an opportunity forming quietly. It may not look impressive at first. It may seem small or inconvenient, but it carries alignment. When it presents itself, you will feel peace instead of pressure. That peace is your confirmation. And here is something crucial. Do not shrink yourself to keep others comfortable during this shift. The clarity you are receiving is not meant to be hidden. It is meant to refine your path. The next revelation connected to this message will go even deeper. It will touch not just your external environment, but the spiritual contract over your life. And what is about to be uncovered will explain why the tension you felt was necessary. Hold that awareness close, because what unfolds next connects everything you've been sensing into one undeniable truth. Chosen one, lean in closer now, because what is being unveiled in this hour goes beyond surface clarity. It reaches into the spiritual agreements surrounding your life. Today, on March 11th, something you've been sensing is about to make sense, and Archangel Michael is now addressing the deeper layer behind it. There has been a silent battle over your direction. Not loud, not dramatic, but persistent. You felt resistance when you tried to move forward in certain plans. You felt unexplained delays when you were ready to step ahead. At times, it seemed like progress was slow without reason. But the reason was spiritual alignment. What felt like obstruction was actually protection from stepping into something prematurely. Archangel Michael stands as guardian over divine timing. And what you must understand now is this. There were paths you almost walked that would have drained you. There were alliances that looked promising but carried hidden imbalance. There were decisions that seemed urgent but were rooted in impatience, not purpose. You sensed it. That hesitation you felt. That pause in your spirit. That subtle discomfort when everything looked perfect on paper. That was not fear. That was discernment guarding your destiny. March 11th marks the lifting of confusion around one specific decision. Something you were unsure about will suddenly feel clear. Either it will feel firmly right or unmistakably wrong. The gray area is dissolving. Archangel Michael is cutting through the fog. But here is the revelation that may surprise you. The tension you felt recently was not only external, it was internal expansion. Your spirit was outgrowing an old version of yourself. You cannot carry new authority with outdated thinking. You cannot step into greater alignment while holding on to habits that belonged to your previous season. So pressure increased. Not to break you, but to stretch you. There is also something shifting in your environment. Someone who underestimated you is beginning to see you differently. Someone who assumed you would remain silent is realizing you have boundaries now. Someone who thought you were unaware is discovering you have been observing everything quietly. Do not announce this shift. Let it reveal itself naturally. Archangel Michael is emphasizing strategic silence. There is power in knowing without reacting. There is strength in seeing without exposing immediately. Timing matters. And there is another truth you must hear. The insight coming to you is not meant to create fear. It is meant to create freedom. When clarity arrives, you will not feel panic. You will feel relief. Because deep down, you were tired of questioning your own perception. You were right. There is a spiritual contract over your life that includes protection, elevation, and purpose. But contracts require alignment. March 11th activates a recalibration. You are being repositioned into greater accuracy. Watch how small pieces begin to connect. Watch how certain conversations feel different. Watch how your own energy feels steadier. The shift is subtle, but undeniable. Archangel Michael is also addressing your courage. You have been braver than you give yourself credit for. You have walked through confusion without collapsing. You have endured silence without losing faith. You have faced uncertainty without surrendering your integrity. That resilience is being rewarded. Something that once felt heavy will feel lighter. Something that felt confusing will feel simple. Something that felt distant will feel near. And as this realization anchors in your spirit, respond intentionally. Type "I receive the clarity" in the comments if this message confirms what you have been sensing. Blessing code 311 is now activated over your life. This number is not random. It seals alignment for this hour. As you declare it, you align with the revelation being released. Now hear this final layer carefully. The clarity you are receiving is not only for comfort, it is preparation. What is unfolding next in your life requires sharper discernment. It requires stronger boundaries. It requires greater self-trust. And this moment is your training ground. Archangel Michael does not reveal truth without purpose. If something is being shown to you, it is because you are strong enough to handle it. If something is being clarified, it is because you are mature enough to respond wisely. Do not shrink back now. And as this insight settles into your spirit, understand that spreading messages like this carries eternal impact. When you release support through super thanks, membership, or even the PayPal link placed in the description, You are not funding a platform. You are sowing seeds into souls who are desperate for confirmation. The Lord declares, as you sow, so shall you reap, and your generosity becomes oil that keeps this lamp burning for those walking in darkness. When you act, you step into agreement with heaven's harvest. I am inviting you to move now as a co-laborer in this mission. Your seed becomes light, your giving becomes fire, and your obedience opens rivers of blessing over your own house. Do not delay this divine response. Release your support today and watch how God multiplies it back into your life. The next wave of revelation will expose why this clarity was timed so precisely for today. Faithful heart, what is happening now is not accidental timing. It is divine precision. Today, on March 11th, something you've been sensing is about to make sense, and now the reason for its exact timing is being uncovered. Archangel Michael is not only revealing truth, he is revealing why it had to be revealed now. If this clarity had come earlier, you would have reacted emotionally. If it had come later, you might have missed an opportunity. But today, you are steady enough to receive it and wise enough to apply it. That is growth. There has been a quiet preparation unfolding within you over the past season. You were being strengthened internally before external changes occurred. Your patience was being refined. Your reactions were being tested. Your silence was being observed. What felt like ordinary days were actually training grounds for spiritual maturity. Archangel Michael had been watching how you handle pressure, not to judge you, but to measure your readiness. There were moments recently where you could have spoken impulsively but chose restraint. There were times you could have forced an outcome but chose to wait. There were situations where you felt misunderstood but refused to defend yourself aggressively. Those choices mattered more than you know, because the clarity arriving now requires composure. Something is about to be confirmed in a way that removes doubt completely. It may not come with dramatic confrontation. It may not involve loud exposure. Instead, it will arrive quietly, like a puzzle piece snapping into place. You will see it. You will understand it. And you will not need anyone else to validate it. That inner confirmation is the breakthrough. Archangel Michael wants you to recognize that the tension you felt earlier was divine friction. Friction produces refinement. It smooths rough edges. It strengthens endurance. Without that tension, you would not be standing in this level of awareness now. And here is something deeper. There was an unseen resistance around your path that has now been lifted. Not because it disappeared on its own, but because it was removed. You may not see what was blocking you. You may never know the full details of what was redirected behind the scenes. But you will notice the difference in flow. Decisions will feel clearer. Conversations will feel lighter. Opportunities will move with less strain. That shift is not coincidence. March 11th carries an unlocking energy for you. It is like a door that was sealed for protection is now opening because you are ready to walk through it without compromising yourself. But be attentive. This is not a door back into comfort. It is a door into alignment. Comfort is familiar. Alignment is purposeful. You may feel drawn to make one specific adjustment after this message settles in your spirit. It could be rearranging your priorities. It could be changing how you communicate. It could be distancing yourself from something that no longer resonates. Trust that impulse. It is not random. Archangel Michael is guiding you towards strategic repositioning. There is also someone observing you quietly. They are noticing your composure. They are watching your growth. They expected you to react differently in recent situations. Your restraint surprised them. Your calm unsettled them. And your silence spoke louder than argument ever could. You do not need to confront them. The truth is already working in your favor. Another layer is unfolding in your personal confidence. You are beginning to trust your own timing instead of rushing to match others. You are no longer comparing your path to someone else's progress. That shift in mindset is powerful. Comparison weakens discernment. Self-trust strengthens it. Archangel Michael is reinforcing your foundation. You are not fragile. You are fortified. There may be a moment soon when you are asked to make a decision quickly. When that moment comes, pause internally. Take one breath. The right answer will rise immediately. Do not overthink it. The clarity given to you today is designed to guide that choice. And understand this clearly. You are being elevated, but elevation requires separation from certain old dynamics. Not everyone can follow you into this next level of awareness. Some connections will naturally fade. Some conversations will become shorter. Some energies will drift away without conflict. Let them. You are not losing support. You are shedding interference. Archangel Michael's presence around you is steady and intentional. His role in this hour is not to create drama, but to secure your path. His sword represents truth, but his shield represents protection. Both are active around you now. There is also a creative idea forming in your mind that you have not fully acknowledged yet. It feels subtle, maybe even unrealistic, but it keeps returning. That idea is connected to this clarity. Do not dismiss it. Write it down. Reflect on it. The timing for its development is approaching faster than you expect. Everything unfolding now is interconnected. The sensing you experienced with the signal. The clarity you are receiving is the confirmation. The adjustment you are about to make is the activation. And what follows will reveal why this entire process was necessary, not just for protection, but for promotion. Stay aware. The next revelation will touch the area you have been thinking about the most, even if you have not spoken it aloud. Steady soul, now we arrive at the layer you have been quietly thinking about but hesitating to confront. Today, on March 11th, something you've been sensing is about to make sense, and this time it touches the area you have kept mostly to yourself. Archangel Michael is now directing the light toward what you have avoided naming. There is a pattern in your life that has repeated more than once. Different faces, different settings, but the same emotional cycle. You noticed it, but you brush it aside. You told yourself it was coincidence. You adjusted your behavior instead of questioning the pattern. But deep within, something kept whispering, "This feels familiar." That whisper was discernment. Archangel Michael is revealing that this cycle was not punishment. It was a lesson waiting to be mastered. Until a pattern is recognized, it repeats. But once it is seen clearly, its power breaks. March 11 marks the moment of recognition. It may involve the way you overextend yourself for others. It may involve accepting less than you deserve to keep peace. It may involve delaying your own progress to avoid making someone uncomfortable. Whatever it is, it has drained you quietly over time. But here is the turning point. You are no longer willing to abandon yourself to maintain external stability. That shift is powerful. There was a time when you feared disappointing others more than disappointing yourself. That time is ending. Not because you have become cold, but because you have become aware. Archangel Michael is strengthening your internal boundaries. Boundaries are not walls of isolation. They are lines of self-respect. And when those lines become clear, confusion decreases. You may soon face a small but significant test connected to this pattern. It will not look dramatic. It may be as simple as someone asking for more of your time than you can comfortably give, or someone expecting you to agree quickly, or someone assuming you will compromise again. This time, you will respond differently, and when you do, you will feel a quiet surge of strength. That strength is alignment. The clarity arriving today is not just about external truths. It is about internal permission. Permission to say no. Permission to take space. Permission to prioritize your peace. Permission to walk away from cycles that no longer reflect who you are becoming. Archangel Michael stands beside you as you make this shift. His energy is not forcing you to fight. It is empowering you to stand. There is a difference. Fighting drains. Standing stabilizes. Something else is also being revealed. The delay you experienced recently in one area of your life was directly connected to this pattern. You could not move forward fully while still entangled in old behavior. The pause was intentional. It gave you time to see clearly. Now you see. And seeing changes everything. You may notice that your conversations begin to feel more direct. You may find yourself speaking with more clarity and fewer apologies. You may stop over-explaining your decisions. This is not arrogance. This is maturity. There is also a subtle emotional healing happening within you right now. A memory from the past may surface unexpectedly. A moment when you felt overlooked or unheard. That memory is not resurfacing to hurt you. It is surfacing to close the loop. Archangel Michael is helping you detach emotional weight from old experiences. You are not that version of yourself anymore. You are not powerless. You are not voiceless. You are not dependent on external approval. The sensing you felt earlier was your spirit preparing to break this pattern. And now the breaking begins. Pay attention to how your body feels after you assert yourself in the coming days. You will notice relief instead of guilt. That relief confirms you are aligned. Another important layer must be understood. As you step out of this repeated cycle, some people may react unexpectedly. They may question your change. They may attempt to remind you of how you used to be. Do not be pulled backward by nostalgia or pressure. Growth always feels unfamiliar at first, not only to you, but to those around you. Archangel Michael's guidance here is simple. Stay consistent. Do not explain your evolution repeatedly. Let your new behavior speak for itself. There is freedom attached to this clarity. Not loud freedom. Not dramatic freedom. But internal stability. And once this pattern fully dissolves, you will notice acceleration in another area of your life. What felt stuck will begin to move. What felt delayed will begin to align. Because energy once tied up in repetition will be released toward progress. You are not losing anything essential by breaking this cycle. You are gaining strength. March 11th is not just about understanding something external. It is about understanding yourself more clearly than ever before. The next revelation will address the opportunity that has been hovering quietly in your awareness. The one you have doubted. The one you thought might be unrealistic. The one connected to your deeper purpose. That opportunity is closer than you think. Resolute soul, steady your breathing for a moment, because what stands before you now is not a distraction. It is a doorway. Today, on March 11th, something you've been sensing is about to make sense, and Archangel Michael is drawing your attention directly to the opportunity you almost talked yourself out of believing in. This opportunity has not been loud. It has not demanded your attention with noise or pressure. Instead, it has lingered quietly in your thoughts. It shows up when you are alone. It returns when you feel frustrated with your current situation. It whispers possibility when you least expect it. You tried to rationalize it away. You told yourself the timing was off. You questioned your qualifications. You measured the risk. You compared it to safer choices. Yet despite your logical arguments, the idea keeps resurfacing. That repetition is not random. It is alignment pressing gently against your hesitation. Archangel Michael is revealing that this opportunity is tied to the identity shift you have been undergoing. The old version of you would have dismissed it immediately out of fear. The evolving version of you feels both nervous and excited, and that combination signals growth. Understand this clearly. Growth often feels like instability at first. It stretches your sense of security. It challenges your routine. It invites you to trust at a higher level, and that discomfort can easily be mistaken for danger. But this is not danger. It is expansion. There is a reason this opportunity is surfacing now instead of 6 months ago. 6 months ago, you were still entangled in patterns that drained your clarity. You were still questioning your discernment. You were still carrying emotional weight from cycles that have now been broken. Now your energy is cleaner. Now your perception is sharper. Now your boundaries are stronger. And because of that internal alignment, external doors can open without pulling you into chaos. This opportunity may involve a change in your work environment, a creative project, a leadership role, or even a shift in location. For some of you, it is connected to stepping into a calling that feels larger than your current self-image. For others, it is about finally committing to something you have postponed repeatedly. The fear you feel is not a warning to retreat. It is the sensation of stepping beyond familiarity. Archangel Michael stands beside you not to push you recklessly, but to steady your confidence. He is reminding you that courage does not mean absence of uncertainty. It means movement despite it. However, wisdom is required. Do not rush impulsively. Gather information. Ask necessary questions. Observe how the opportunity unfolds naturally. If it requires manipulation or pressure, it is not aligned. If it unfolds with steady clarity, even if it stretches you, it carries divine timing. There may also be a financial component attached to this decision. You might be calculating numbers, weighing investment, or considering long-term security. Do not let fear of temporary instability block long-term alignment. At the same time, do not ignore practical preparation. Balance faith with strategy. This is a mature step forward. And as you process this, engage with what is happening here. If this message is speaking directly to your current situation, respond. Like this video so the algorithm carries it to someone else standing at a similar crossroads. Share it with a friend who has been hesitating on their own opportunity. Comment what step you have been contemplating, because your words may unlock courage in someone reading them. And if you have not yet subscribed, join this growing community. Your subscription, your engagement, your presence helps these messages reach souls who are waiting for confirmation. When you interact, you are participating in a larger awakening. Now return your focus inward again. There is another subtle detail you must recognize. The opportunity in front of you is connected to something from your past that felt incomplete. Perhaps years ago you tried something, and it did not flourish. Perhaps you abandoned a dream because circumstances were not supportive. Perhaps you stepped back due to doubt. An unfinished thread is resurfacing. Archangel Michael is showing you that what once failed was not meant to end your calling. It was meant to prepare you for it. You lacked certain strengths back then that you now possess. You lacked certain clarity that you now carry. You lacked certain boundaries that now protect you. This time is different. There may also be unexpected support appearing as you move closer to this decision. Someone you did not anticipate may offer encouragement. A resource may become available. Information may align smoothly. Pay attention to these confirmations. They are not coincidences. At the same time, not everyone will understand your choice. Some will project their own fears onto your situation. Listen respectfully, but filter wisely. Advice rooted in fear does not override alignment rooted in clarity. You are no longer living for predictability alone. You are being positioned for purpose. There is an urgency beneath this moment, not panic, but momentum. The longer you delay out of habit, the heavier hesitation will feel. But once you take one intentional step, resistance will lessen. Archangel Michael's guidance is firm. Move thoughtfully, but move. The next revelation will uncover how this opportunity intersects with a relationship dynamic that has been quietly shifting around you. That connection will explain why certain energies have felt unstable recently. Everything is converging, and you are more ready than you realize. Awakened one, what you are about to understand will explain the tension that has been quietly building beneath the surface. Today, on March 11th, something you've been sensing is about to make sense, and Archangel Michael is now unveiling how your evolving path has directly affected a relationship dynamic that can no longer remain hidden in ambiguity. You felt the shift before you had language for it. There was a subtle change in tone. A pause that lasted a second too long. A response that felt supportive on the surface but hollow underneath. Or perhaps the opposite happened. Someone unexpectedly encouraged you in a way that felt deeper than before. Either way, the energy changed. And energy does not lie. As you began breaking old patterns and stepping into clearer self-respect, the relational balance around you recalibrated. If a connection depended on your silence, your compliance, or your constant availability, it now feels strained. If it was rooted in mutual growth, it feels steadier than ever. This is not coincidence. This is spiritual alignment at work. Archangel Michael is illuminating what had been hidden in plain sight. Not to create division, but to give you discernment. The opportunity forming in your life is acting as a mirror. It is revealing who celebrates your expansion and who feels unsettled by it. Pay attention without hostility. There may be someone close to you whose reactions have been inconsistent. One day they appear supportive. The next day they seem distant or subtly critical. That inconsistency is the message. It reflects their internal struggle, not your instability. Growth challenges those who are not ready to grow. You once would have interpreted this shift as your fault. You would have analyzed your tone, your words, your decisions. You would have tried to adjust yourself to restore comfort. But something inside you refuses to bend this time. That refusal is strength. Archangel Michael stands firm beside you, reinforcing that your evolution is not betrayal. You are not abandoning anyone by honoring your calling. You are simply aligning with the version of yourself that has been forming quietly for months. This relationship dynamic may soon face a defining moment. It will not necessarily be dramatic. It could be a simple conversation about your plans. It could be a boundary you calmly enforce. It could be your decision to prioritize something new. Watch carefully how the other person responds when your growth becomes undeniable. If they attempt to minimize your opportunity, that reveals insecurity. If they question your readiness without offering constructive insight, that reveals projection. If they genuinely support you, even if they feel uncertain, that reveals maturity. Do not confront prematurely. Let patterns confirm themselves. There is also a deeper emotional layer here. Part of you may fear that stepping fully into this opportunity will create distance between you and this person. That fear is natural. But ask yourself this: is the connection sustained by authenticity or by familiarity? Familiarity feels safe. Authenticity feels liberating. You are being invited into liberation. Archangel Michael's presence in this hour is protective. If a connection cannot withstand your growth, it is not meant to anchor your future. What is aligned will adapt. What is misaligned will fade without you forcing it. And understand this clearly: some relationships end loudly. Others simply dissolve through decreased relevance. Do not mistake quiet fading for failure. It is often divine repositioning. You may also notice that as one dynamic shifts, another begins forming unexpectedly. A new conversation, a new collaboration, a new supportive presence. This is not random replacement. It is balanced exchange. When space opens, alignment enters. The opportunity you are contemplating is intertwined with this relational recalibration. You cannot step fully into new territory while remaining emotionally tethered to old expectations. Something had to adjust. That adjustment is happening now. There may be a moment soon when you are tempted to shrink again for the sake of peace. You may feel the urge to soften your plans to make them more digestible. Resist that impulse. Speak clearly. Speak calmly. Speak without apology. Archangel Michael strengthens your voice in this hour. This is not about confrontation. It is about congruence. Your inner conviction must match your outer expression. When those two align, confusion dissolves. You are not responsible for managing someone else's discomfort with your growth. You are responsible for honoring the clarity you have received. And here is a profound truth. The tension you sensed was not a threat to your stability. It was an indicator that transformation was near. When dynamics shift, friction surfaces before harmony resets. Do not panic at the friction. Let it reveal truth. As this relationship recalibrates, you will feel lighter. Even if there is temporary awkwardness, there will be deeper peace. That peace confirms alignment. Archangel Michael is not removing support from your life. He is refining it. He is ensuring that those who walk beside you are capable of walking at your pace. The next revelation will expose the spiritual resistance that attempted to cloud your clarity during this entire transition. You felt it as sudden doubt, unexpected fatigue, or mental distraction. That resistance intensified because breakthrough is close. And once you understand why it pressed harder recently, you will realize that you were never falling behind. You were advancing into a higher level of purpose. Brave soul, now we step into the unseen layer, the resistance you could not explain but absolutely felt. Today, on March 11th, something you've been sensing is about to make sense. And Archangel Michael is revealing why the pressure intensified right before your clarity arrived. Breakthrough always attracts resistance, not because you are weak, but because you are advancing. In the days leading up to this moment, you may have experienced unusual fatigue, not physical exhaustion alone, but mental heaviness. Simple decisions felt overwhelming. Distractions increased. Doubts appeared suddenly, even about things you were once confident in. You questioned yourself more than usual. You felt slightly off balance without a clear reason. That was not regression. That was resistance reacting to your elevation. Archangel Michael wants you to understand something critical. When you begin to break patterns, shift relationships, and consider new opportunities, unseen opposition attempts to create confusion. This primary tool is Tao, not dramatic chaos, not visible attack, just subtle questioning. Are you sure? Maybe you're overthinking. What if this fails? What if you lose stability? These whispers were designed to slow your momentum. But here is the truth. You did not retreat. Even in your moments of uncertainty, you kept listening. You kept reflecting. You kept seeking clarity instead of surrendering to fear. That persistence weakened the resistance. March 11th marks the moment when clarity overpowers confusion. The fatigue begins to lift. The fog begins to thin. Your thoughts feel sharper again. You may even feel a quiet surge of energy returning. That is not coincidence. That is alignment restored. Archangel Michael stands as both protector and warrior in this phase. His sword does not only cut through external deception, it cuts through internal distortion. The doubt that tried to convince you that you were not ready is dissolving now. There was also interference aimed at your focus. Notice how small distractions seemed louder recently. Minor issues felt larger than usual. Conversations pulled your attention away from what truly mattered. This was strategic diversion. When purpose approaches, distraction increases. But you are regaining your center. You may notice in the coming days that your concentration strengthens. Ideas become clearer. Plans feel more structured. Emotional turbulence decreases. This is the calm after spiritual pressure breaks. Archangel Michael is also revealing that some of the resistance you felt was not entirely external. Part of it was the final shedding of your old identity. The version of you that doubted your worth. The version that hesitated to claim authority. The version that feared stepping beyond comfort. That version resisted change because familiarity feels safe. But you are not meant to remain safe. You are meant to expand. There may be one final moment of testing connected to this resistance. A sudden wave of doubt. A minor setback. An unexpected comment. Do not interpret it as failure. Interpret it as confirmation that you are on the right path. Resistance presses hardest before it loses access. Stand firm. Archangel Michael's presence around you is stabilizing your energy field. You may even feel more grounded physically, more aware of your posture, more intentional in your breathing. These subtle shifts signal regained authority. This entire sequence, the sensing, the clarity, the opportunity, the relationship recalibration, and the resistance, has been interconnected. Nothing was random. Nothing was wasted. And now, as clarity settles deeper into your spirit, respond intentionally. Type "I stand in clarity" in the comments if you feel the shift happening within you. Blessing code 818 is now activated over this breakthrough season. As you declare it, you align your voice with your elevation. Understand this clearly. The resistance you experienced was evidence of value. No one fights over something insignificant. The pressure revealed your potential. And now that the fog is clearing, momentum will increase. You will notice smoother conversations, more decisive thinking, less internal debate. The opportunity you once questioned will feel more attainable. The relationship dynamic that felt unstable will feel either resolved or clearly defined. Peace replaces confusion. Archangel Michael is not finished guiding you. The next revelation will expose how this breakthrough is positioning you for a public shift, not necessarily fame, but visibility. Your growth will not remain hidden. Others will notice. And that visibility will require the confidence you are now reclaiming. As this message closes this phase, remember that spreading this clarity is part of the mission. When you release support through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are sowing into the harvest of awakening souls. Scripture declares that light must not be hidden under a covering, and your generosity becomes oil that keeps this flame burning across nations. I am calling you to act as a partner in this movement. Your seed is not a transaction. It is a prophetic response to the breakthrough you are receiving. As you give, heaven multiplies. As you sow, doors open. Step into agreement with this mission now and release your support boldly. Radiant soul, what has been forming within you is no longer meant to stay hidden behind quiet transformation. Today, on March 11th, something you've been sensing is about to make sense, and Archangel Michael is now revealing that your breakthrough is positioning you for a season of visibility that you did not fully anticipate. This visibility is not about ego. It is about alignment becoming evident. For a long time, you have been growing in private. You have been correcting patterns silently. You have been strengthening your boundaries without announcement. You have been learning restraint, discernment, and emotional stability behind the scenes. Very few people saw the internal battles you fought. Very few understood the discipline it took to remain calm when you could have reacted. Very few recognized how much maturity you gained through pressure. But hidden growth does not remain hidden forever. There is a shift happening where your presence carries more weight than before. When you enter a room, conversations subtly adjust. When you speak, people listen more attentively. When you remain silent, others sense that silence intentionally. This is not imagination. It is authority settling into your energy. Archangel Michael is emphasizing that visibility follows refinement. If this exposure had come earlier, you would have felt overwhelmed. You might have sought validation. You might have reacted defensively to criticism. But now you are steadier. Now you are less reactive. Now you are less dependent on approval. That steadiness is what makes you ready. There is a particular environment where this increased visibility will become obvious. It could be within your workplace, where your ideas are suddenly acknowledged more seriously. It could be within your family, where your decisions are no longer dismissed. It could be within a spiritual or creative space where your insight begins to influence direction. Do not be surprised when someone who once overlooked you begins consulting you. This is the fruit of quiet consistency. However, visibility is not without challenge. When you rise into clearer influence, evaluation increases. Some will admire your composure. Others will question your motives. A few may attempt to test your boundaries to see if your growth is genuine. Do not interpret testing as threat. Testing confirms transition. Archangel Michael stands as guardian over your integrity during this visible phase. His guidance is simple. Remain consistent. Do not overperform to maintain attention. Do not shrink to avoid scrutiny. Continue walking in the clarity you receive. You may notice subtle changes in how others respond to your confidence. Some will feel inspired. Some may feel unsettled. Growth can mirror insecurity in those who resist change. That reaction is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is alignment. There is also a deeper layer here. Visibility requires vulnerability. Being seen means your decisions are noticed. Your tone is observed. Your consistency is measured. You may feel moments of self-consciousness. You may question whether you are truly prepared for this shift. Remember the resistance you overcame. Remember the clarity that settled into your spirit. Remember the patterns you broke. You did not endure that process to retreat now. Archangel Michael is not placing you in visibility to expose weakness. He is positioning you so that your steadiness becomes a stabilizing force for others. Someone near you needs to see what composure looks like. Someone observing you needs proof that growth is possible. Your example carries impact beyond what you see. There is also an opportunity connected to this visibility. A door may open because someone recognized your reliability. A collaboration may emerge because your discernment stood out. A conversation may unfold because your maturity created trust. What once felt delayed is now accelerating. But be mindful. Not every opportunity attached to visibility is aligned with your calling. Some invitations will look attractive but lack depth. Measure each one against your clarity. Does it respect your boundaries? Does it expand your purpose? Does it align with the identity you are stepping into? Archangel Michael urges selectivity. Influence grows stronger when it is intentional. Another subtle confirmation will appear soon. Someone who has been quietly observing your growth may approach you with acknowledgement. It may be brief. It may be indirect. But it will affirm that your transformation has not gone unnoticed. Receive that acknowledgement with humility. This visible season is not about proving your worth. It is about embodying it. When who you are privately aligns with how you appear publicly, authority flows naturally. There is no need to perform. There is no need to exaggerate. There is only alignment. And here is a powerful truth. You once prayed to be taken seriously. You once longed to be recognized for your depth rather than your compliance. That prayer is being answered now. Visibility is the response. The next revelation will complete this transformation by addressing the identity you are fully stepping into. It will seal the shift permanently, ensuring that you do not return to the smaller version of yourself out of habit or nostalgia. What began as a quiet sensing on March 11th is becoming a new foundation, and you are ready to stand on it without hesitation. Unshakable one. This is the crossing point. Today, on March 11th, something you've been sensing is about to make sense, and now Archangel Michael brings you face to face with the internal decision that seals everything. This is not about what is happening around you. It is about who you are choosing to be from this moment forward. There has been a quiet tension inside you because two identities have been coexisting. One was built out of necessity. That version of you learned to survive environments where you were misunderstood. It learned to anticipate rejection. It learned to soften your voice to avoid confrontation. It learned to overextend yourself to secure belonging. That version was not weak. It was adaptive. But you are no longer in the season that required constant adaptation. The second identity has been forming beneath the surface. This version is calm under pressure. This version does not chase approval. This version discerns quickly and moves strategically. This version values peace over performance and alignment over applause. March 11th is not just a date. It is a dividing line. Archangel Michael is revealing that you cannot fully step into the opportunities, visibility, and authority ahead while still negotiating with the outdated version of yourself. Gratitude for who you were is healthy. Attachment to who you were is limiting. You may feel emotion rising as you process this. A wave of reflection. Memories of moments when you doubted yourself unnecessarily. Times when you accepted less than you deserved. Instances when you stayed silent to maintain temporary peace. Let those memories surface without judgment. They are not returning to shame you. They are returning to show you how far you have come. There will be subtle moments in the coming days when the old reflex tries to reassert itself. A comment may challenge you. A decision may require boldness. A conversation may test your confidence. Watch your internal response. The old voice may whisper caution rooted in fear. The new voice will speak clarity rooted in truth. Choose the new voice. That choice is the seal. Archangel Michael stands beside you in this identity shift not as a distant symbol, but as a stabilizing force. His presence represents courage that does not need to be loud, strength that does not need to intimidate, authority that does not need to demand. You are stepping into that same posture. This new identity will feel unfamiliar at first because it does not operate from insecurity. It does not rush to explain itself. It does not bend to avoid discomfort. It listens carefully. It speaks deliberately. It acts intentionally. You may even notice a change in your body language. You will sit straighter. You will maintain eye contact longer. Your breathing will feel deeper. Confidence is not just mental. It is embodied. And understand this clearly. This shift will affect your standards. You will no longer tolerate environments that require you to shrink. You will no longer entertain dynamics that thrive on confusion. You will no longer overcommit to prove your worth. This is not rebellion. It is maturity. Archangel Michael is emphasizing that protection now operates through discernment rather than avoidance. Instead of retreating from every challenge, you will assess calmly. Instead of assuming the worst, you will evaluate wisely. Instead of reacting emotionally, you will respond strategically. There may be one final test connected to this transition. Someone may address you in a way that previously would have unsettled you, or a situation may mirror an old pattern. This time, however, your response will be different. You will not overthink it for days. You will not replay it endlessly. You will trust your initial discernment. That is growth confirmed. As this resonates within you, engage actively. If you feel this internal transformation taking root, let it be known. Like this message so it reaches others standing at the same identity crossroads. Share it with someone who needs permission to outgrow their survival mindset. Comment what old version of yourself you are consciously releasing. And if you have not yet subscribed, subscribe now and become part of this awakening community. Your engagement strengthens this movement and ensures that messages of clarity continue reaching those who are silently searching for confirmation. Hold on, because what is unfolding next builds directly on this sealed identity. There is momentum forming behind your decision. The opportunity that once intimidated you will now feel aligned. The relationship shifts will feel less threatening. The visibility will feel natural rather than overwhelming. Everything stabilizes when identity stabilizes. Archangel Michael is sealing this transformation with courage. You will sense a deeper calm in the coming days. Not passive calm, but grounded certainty. Decisions will require less internal debate. Boundaries will feel less dramatic. Your energy will feel more contained and powerful. And here is the truth you cannot ignore. You cannot unknow what you now understand. You cannot shrink back into unconscious patterns once awareness has expanded you. You cannot pretend to be smaller after recognizing your capacity. The next revelation will address the external ripple effect of this internal seal. Because when identity shifts at this level, your environment must recalibrate. And that recalibration is already quietly beginning. Consecrated one, the shift within you has already begun to rearrange the world around you. Today, on March 11th, something you've been sensing is about to make sense, and now Archangel Michael reveals how your internal seal of identity is triggering external recalibration in ways you are only beginning to notice. When identity stabilizes, atmosphere responds. You may have sensed subtle environmental changes recently. Conversations that once felt tense now feel neutral. Situations that seemed stuck are quietly resolving. People who were once distant are either leaning in with new respect or drifting away without confrontation. This is not coincidence. This is alignment reorganizing your surroundings. Archangel Michael is showing you that your energetic presence has shifted. Before, You may have unknowingly projected uncertainty. You questioned yourself internally, and others felt that hesitation. Now, your energy carries clarity. You think before you speak. You choose identically. You no longer seek approval in subtle ways. That internal adjustment alters how others respond to you. Some individuals may feel unsettled by your steadiness. They may not know why your silence feels stronger than before. They may interpret your boundaries as distance. But what they are truly sensing is your integration. You are no longer fragmented between insecurity and confidence. You are aligned. Alignment creates gravity. There will be people who begin to approach you differently. They may seek your input. They may treat your opinions with increased respect. They may even adjust their tone unconsciously in your presence. This is not about dominance. It is about maturity being recognized. However, recalibration is rarely instant. It unfolds in waves. Archangel Michael emphasizes patience in this stage. Do not assume that every shift is final. Some relationships are evolving, not ending. Some spaces are adjusting to your new standards. Allow time to reveal which connections can grow with you and which ones must remain behind. There may also be a subtle expansion of responsibility. You might be entrusted with more decisions, more influence, more trust. This is not meant to overwhelm you. It is a reflection of the authority you now carry. But authority requires discipline. Do not accept every new responsibility simply because you are capable. Evaluate whether it aligns with your purpose. Strength does not mean endless availability. Protect your energy intentionally. There is also material or financial ripple effect forming. You may notice clearer thinking around money decisions, more confidence in investments of time or resources. Even small adjustments in how you manage your commitments can lead to noticeable stability. This is connected to your identity shift. When you operate from clarity, your external structures strengthen. Archangel Michael is reinforcing that expansion must be handled with wisdom. Momentum is building, but reckless movement can dilute progress. Stay grounded. You may also feel one final emotional release as this recalibration unfolds. Perhaps a realization that a chapter has officially closed. Perhaps an acknowledgement that someone you once depended on no longer plays the same role in your life. Allow yourself to feel closure without bitterness. Release without resentment. Closure is not loss. It is completion. There may be an unexpected confirmation soon. A conversation that validates your growth. An apology that arrives without you requesting it. A gesture of respect that once felt impossible. Receive it calmly. You do not need to celebrate loudly or revisit old wounds. Quiet acknowledgement is strength. As this message resonates, stay actively engaged. If you feel this recalibration happening around you, let your presence amplify it. Like this message so it reaches others experiencing similar transitions. Share it with someone navigating their own identity shift. Comment what changes you are already noticing in your environment. And if you have not subscribed yet, subscribe now and remain connected to this unfolding guidance. What comes next builds directly on this foundation, and you will want to witness how it completes. Archangel Michael's presence in this stage is steady. He is not intervening grammatically. He is guarding consistency. He is strengthening your resolve not to revert to old habits under pressure. There may be moments where nostalgia tempts you to reconnect with outdated dynamics. Familiarity can feel comforting. But ask yourself whether familiarity aligns with who you are becoming. If it does not, choose forward movement. The recalibration you are witnessing is not temporary adjustment. It is structural change. Your influence is expanding quietly. Your clarity is stabilizing externally. Your decisions carry weight. Your words carry impact. And here is the deeper truth. Your transformation affects more than your immediate surroundings. It influences those who observe you silently. It disrupts generational patterns of self-doubt. It demonstrates that growth is possible without chaos. You chose clarity over confusion. You chose alignment over approval. You chose identity over insecurity. The final revelation will seal this entire message with prophetic direction for the weeks ahead. It will not predict turmoil. It will confirm momentum and purpose. What began as a subtle sensing on March 11th is now a foundation beneath your feet. And that foundation is firm. Beloved guardian of your own destiny, this is the sealing of the message. Today, on March 11th, something you've been sensing is about to make sense. And now Archangel Michael brings the final confirmation about what unfolds in the weeks ahead. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into momentum. Everything you experienced leading up to this day, the subtle sensing, the relational shifts, the opportunity hovering at the edge of your comfort zone, the resistance that tried to fog your clarity, the identity that had to be released, was preparation. Not punishment. Not delay. Preparation. The coming weeks will feel different. Not because life suddenly becomes perfect, but because you will move through it differently. Situations that once drained you will no longer hold the same emotional weight. Decisions that once required endless deliberation will now feel intuitive. You will notice yourself trusting your first discernment more often, and being right. Archangel Michael is emphasizing that speed will increase, but panic will not. Things may begin aligning more quickly than you expect. Responses may arrive faster. Doors may open with less struggle. Conversations may resolve without extended tension. This is not luck. This is alignment meeting readiness. There is a specific breakthrough forming within the next few weeks connected to the opportunity that has been circling you. It will require action, but not desperation. When it presents itself, you will feel calm clarity instead of anxious excitement. That calm will be your signal. You will also see confirmation in your environment. Someone who doubted you may shift their tone. Someone who underestimated your discernment may seek your insight. A space that once felt resisted may suddenly feel welcoming. Do not gloat. Remain grounded. The power of this new season is quiet authority. Archangel Michael is also sealing your protection. What attempted to distract you before will not have the same access. What tried to plant doubt will struggle to gain traction. Not because challenges disappeared, but because your internal foundation is stronger. You may even notice changes in your physical energy. Deeper sleep, clear focus, a steady voice. These are signs of integration. Your spirit and mind are no longer in conflict. But here is the most important confirmation. You are no longer waiting for permission. The version of you that required external validation has been released. The version of you that trusts divine timing has emerged. And because of that, you will recognize opportunities without chasing them and recognize misalignment without fearing it. In the coming weeks, guard your peace fiercely. Not aggressively. Not defensively. But intentionally. Choose conversations that nourish clarity. Choose commitments that align with purpose. Choose environments that reflect your new standard. If something feels off, you will know immediately. If something is aligned, you will feel steady expansion. Trust that. Archangel Michael stands not only as protector but as witness. Witness to your growth. Witness to your endurance. Witness to the silent battles you overcame without applause. And now heaven responds with momentum. Before this message closes, respond in alignment. Type "I walk in divine momentum" in the comments if you receive this prophetic confirmation. Blessing code 1212 is now activated over your next season. As you declare it, you seal this shift. Now hear this final call clearly. What has been spoken over you is not meant to stop with you. Light must multiply. Scripture declares that when seed is sown in fertile ground, it returns in harvest beyond measure. When you release support through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link placed in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing into souls who are standing exactly where you once stood, searching for clarity. I am calling you now to act as a co-laborer in this mission. Let your seed become oil that keeps this flame burning across nations. As you give, heaven records it as obedience. As you sow, doors open over your own house. Do not delay this prophetic response. Release your support now and step into agreement with the harvest that is rising. This is the hour everything began to make sense. And you are ready.